The events of May 26, 2012, left an indelible mark on Miami and true crime history. Rudy Eugene's attack on Ronald Poppo wasn't just a gruesome act of violence. It was a riddle that challenged everything we thought we knew about human behavior. In Part 1, we dissected the horrific incident and Rudy's baffling background. Now, in Part 2, we delve into the aftermath, the investigations, the conspiracy theories, and the lingering, unanswered questions that keep this case shrouded in mystery. Was it a momentary lapse of sanity, or did Rudy Eugene tap into something far darker and more inexplicable? Let's uncover the chilling possibilities. When the toxicology report on Rudy Eugene was released, it added fuel to the fire of speculation. Contrary to popular belief, there were no traces of bath salts, synthetic drugs, or any hard substances in his system. The only detectable substance was marijuana, which, as experts pointed out, doesn't typically induce violent or psychotic behavior. This revelation sent shockwaves through the public and law enforcement. If drugs weren't responsible, then what was? Some experts speculated that Rudy might have ingested an undetectable designer drug or a new, untraceable substance. Others pointed to the possibility of a mental health crisis, perhaps exacerbated by Rudy's deeply religious beliefs and reported stressors in his personal life. But the absence of definitive answers only made the case more unnerving. How could a man with no history of extreme violence suddenly commit such an atrocity? The lack of closure left both the public and those closest to Rudy searching for meaning. In the vacuum of solid explanations, conspiracy theories began to emerge. Some claimed that Rudy Eugene was part of a government experiment gone wrong, perhaps involving mind-altering drugs or covert psychological manipulation. These theories often cited the bizarre and sudden nature of his actions, comparing them to tales of super soldiers or experiments in human behavioral control. Another fringe theory suggested that Rudy had been possessed. His deeply religious upbringing and the eerie details of the attack, the growling, the superhuman strength, and his nakedness, aligned with descriptions of possession in religious and supernatural lore. To believers in the paranormal, Rudy's case wasn't just a tragedy. It was evidence of a spiritual battle manifesting in the physical world. While these theories are speculative at best, they highlight the lengths to which people go to explain the unexplainable. In the absence of concrete answers, the supernatural and conspiratorial can offer a sense of narrative, however unsettling. The other central figure in this tragedy, Ronald Poppo, faced an uphill battle in the months and years following the attack. His injuries were catastrophic. He lost his left eye, much of his nose, and significant portions of his facial tissue. Doctors described his survival as miraculous, given the extent of the trauma. Poppo underwent multiple reconstructive surgeries, including skin grafts and procedures to improve his ability to eat and speak. Despite his physical suffering, Poppo displayed remarkable resilience. In interviews, he expressed gratitude for the medical care he received and even maintained a sense of humor about his situation. "I'm alive," he once said. "That's all that matters." Poppo chose to remain in a care facility, away from the public eye. While his life was forever altered, his survival became a testament to human endurance. Yet, for all his progress, the psychological scars were just as profound as the physical ones. What haunted Poppo most wasn't just the attack itself, but the question, why him? One of the most plausible explanations for Rudy Eugene's behavior is that he suffered from an acute psychotic episode, potentially linked to undiagnosed mental illness. His girlfriend and family had reported changes in his demeanor in the weeks leading up to the attack, including paranoia and delusions of spiritual warfare. Psychiatrists have noted that psychosis can manifest in sudden and violent ways, particularly when combined with external stressors or substance use. While marijuana is generally considered a mild drug, some studies suggest it can exacerbate psychosis in predisposed individuals. Could Rudy have been one of them? If so, why hadn't these symptoms surfaced earlier in his life? The mental health angle provides some context, but fails to fully explain the sheer savagery of the attack. It also leaves lingering questions about the systemic failures that might have contributed to the tragedy. Could Rudy's mental health issues have been identified and treated before they escalated? Unfortunately, such questions came too late. The Miami zombie case wasn't just a local tragedy. It became a cultural phenomenon, reflecting broader societal fears. At the time, concerns about synthetic drugs like bath salts were at an all-time high, fueled by sensational media coverage. Rudy's attack seemed to confirm the worst-case scenario, that these drugs could turn ordinary people into uncontrollable monsters. But as the bath salts theory unraveled, the case began to take on a more existential dimension. It forced people to confront the fragility of human behavior and the limits of understanding. If someone like Rudy Eugene, with no prior warning signs, could commit such an act, what does that say about our capacity for violence? The case became a grim reminder that the line between sanity and madness is thinner than we'd like to believe. Today, the Rudy Eugene case remains an enigma, a story that defies tidy conclusions. For some, it's a cautionary tale about the dangers of ignoring mental health issues. For others, it's a chilling example of how little we truly understand about the human mind. And for a smaller but vocal group, it's evidence of forces beyond our comprehension, whether supernatural or conspiratorial. Rudy's family has struggled to reconcile the man they knew with the actions. They describe him as a kind and generous person, not the monster depicted in headlines. Ronald Poppo, meanwhile, has largely faded from public view, choosing to live out his days in peace and privacy. Yet the scars of that day remain, for him, for Miami, and for anyone who dares to look too closely at the case. The story of Rudy Eugene is a puzzle with missing pieces, a case that offers more questions than answers. What drove a seemingly ordinary man to commit an act so heinous and unthinkable? Was it a perfect storm of mental health, stress, and substance use? Or was there something more sinister at play? Perhaps we'll never know. But one thing is certain. The events of May 26, 2012, serve as a stark reminder of the unpredictability of human behavior. They force us to confront the darker corners of our psyche, the places where reason and understanding falter. And as we close the book on this haunting tale, we're left with a question that echoes long after the story ends. How well do we really know the people around us, or even ourselves? On May 26, 2012, Miami witnessed one of the most horrifying and inexplicable crimes in recent history. Rudy Eugene, a 31-year-old man known for his religious devotion and friendly demeanor, attacked Ronald Poppo, a homeless man, on the MacArthur Causeway. Naked and acting erratically, Rudy pinned Poppo to the ground and began tearing at his face with his teeth in a grotesque display of violence that left witnesses in shock. By the time police arrived, Poppo had lost most of his face, and Rudy, impervious to commands to stop, was fatally shot after refusing to relent. The crime sparked widespread media attention, with many speculating that Rudy was under the influence of bath salts, a synthetic drug known for causing extreme aggression and psychosis. However, toxicology reports revealed no traces of bath salts, synthetic drugs, or alcohol in his system, only marijuana. This baffling discovery left the public and investigators searching for alternative explanations. Rudy's background offered few clues. Friends and family described him as a deeply religious man who often quoted scripture and carried a Bible. While he had minor brushes with the law and occasionally used marijuana, there was no history of extreme violence. However, in the weeks leading up to the attack, Rudy exhibited concerning behavior, speaking of spiritual warfare and believing he was under attack by evil forces. These signs pointed to a potential psychotic break or undiagnosed mental illness, but no definitive explanation has ever been confirmed. The victim, Ronald Poppo, remarkably survived the attack despite losing his left eye, nose, and large portions of his face. His resilience in the face of such unimaginable trauma became a focal point of the case. Poppo underwent numerous reconstructive surgeries and chose to live a quiet life in a care facility, grateful for the support he received. Yet, Even Poppo could not provide insight into why Rudy targeted him, adding to the case's haunting ambiguity. In the absence of concrete answers, conspiracy theories and supernatural explanations gained traction. Some speculated that Rudy was possessed or the subject of a government experiment, while others pointed to the mysterious nature of his behavior as evidence of forces beyond human understanding. These theories, while far-fetched, highlighted society's need to find meaning in a story that defies easy explanation. Ultimately, the Miami zombie case became a mirror reflecting societal fears about mental illness, drug abuse, and the unpredictability of human behavior. Despite extensive investigations, no single factor has been identified as the cause of Rudy Eugene's actions, leaving the case shrouded in mystery. The events of that day remain a chilling reminder of the thin line between humanity and monstrosity, and how little we truly understand about the complexities of the human mind.